We're back live with the passing show on Harrowings Live with Hal Gill. That's your host. And we've had David Andelman on a little earlier today. Had a very nice discussion with him for about a half an hour between 10 and 10:30. I hope you'll catch the show. Provide any feedback you might like. I do have a gimbal now, but I'm not using it today because I'm going on a longer walk and I don't want to lose it or damage it or anything. I want to get used to it first. And it does a lot of stuff for us. It may also not work with Harrowings Live in this way, which makes me think that, well, we'll figure it out. I know that some people have problems with the jerkiness of the motion of the camera. And, well, I'll do my best to be my own gimbal. So it goes. Okay. It is a hot one. We're going to have to pace ourselves as we get through. There are different points at which we can get into air conditioning as well. So almost 12 o'clock noon, 11:51. And if we have anybody with me, or we don't, that's fine. People are up to things on Sundays. This is what I'm up to. So if you happen to have gotten this push and want to join, feel free. Otherwise, well, I'm recording it for historians of the future and not for us. Primary documentation. Raw footage. No real editing going on. Just ongoing cinema verite of sorts. Documents. We were talking a little bit about how nobody publishes anything without an axe to grind. They always have to take it to account perspective and the desire of someone to publish. Why that is, I try to be transparent with my agenda, which is largely just to capture who, what, when, and where as I walk and talk through our society. Everyone is the center of their own universe, sees things from their perspective. And I was getting a little bit of the perspective from how others see us, Americans. Just really looking at it from the lens of Reinhold Niebuhr, who wrote The Irony of American History, or Irony in American History. I'll have to check the title on that, but I picked that book up randomly out of a little free library outside of the Embassy of Moldova, which is next door to my place. They're talking about the ramifications of the Treaty of...
Yeah, that's
Treaty of...
like a funny.
Why am I not?
Yeah.
Why am I spacing on this? Vienna. No? No. Not that one. The one that wrapped up World War One.
Everything here is expensive. People in there.
Ouch. Don't know why I blanked. But I will blank
I know.
from time to time.
It's made with all of
I'm going to cut back into the crowd here, I think. Didn't get a little more of a passing show. I did this earlier today. Anybody? We got a couple. Yeah. Good to have you as someone who spent 20 years in D.C. before moving to North Carolina. I love your lives. I missed you. Well, I'm glad. Liam, thank you for joining. Now, it is boisterous. Nothing else.
I was going to say for
Once we go out there, it's really hot today. So I think my friend with great sense is probably packed it in already. Let's see. We got a little bit of a traffic jam.
It's two every Gill's beat up your house and maybe there's spurs.
Force a little bit more of a window. There we go. Now we got it.
That's the only guy who's tired of.
Liam, Brian Parker's joined. Thank you for joining.
Yeah.
This is the passing show. I'm actually on a mission and it's set on it by David A. Andelman, Andelman Unleashed, to try to seek out the National Guard. I don't think I'm going to see them, but yesterday I did drive by down at the Lincoln Memorial and saw there's some Army-looking trucks down there. I don't know if they were packing it in or not, because I heard the trumpet back down about taking control of DC police and augmenting our forces, the DC police, the National Guard. Definitely looks like business as usual at the DeBounce Circle Farmers Market. Kind of Soul Farm, Chris's Marketplace, on excellence. Keep moving. Keep moving. A lot of people out in sunglasses. Me too, actually. My transition darkened down in the sunlight. Oh, man. It is tight. Always love coming out here, seeing the abundance in which we are immersed. Be nice if everyone had access to high quality, organic, locally grown food, as we do, and that they make use of it. Reasonable prices are also to be desired. And I think you can really drop a lot of change down here on these things. But, it's local. It's fresh. Pardon me. It's healthy. Ugh. Touching a sweaty person. Don't like that. I'd say la vie. Okay, figs. It's fig season. It's pepper season. Plus rabbit season. I expect they probably do have rabbit over the meat market over here. I don't try to eat too much meat, though. Rabbits or otherwise. This is a zone. Well, I think I'm going to break through and head on down towards the Washington Mall. We'll see how I hold up under the heat, sunlight. Try to keep to the shade as much as possible, being a fair skin type. Who else do we have joining? Nobody. It's got us three. Liam, Brian Parker, myself. Hal Gill, your host, Harrowings Live, The Passing Show. And The Passing Show is just raw journalism.
Sure.
With my commentary of what I'm seeing around me. Just human beings being human beings. You've noticed the diversity of the population, or lack thereof, as the case may be. One of the things we have here is a used bookstore called Second Story Books. It's been in business since 1974. And always good to see what they have up for sale. Let's paint. Looks like the New York Review of Books is on display here. Harris Story's Lucky Gem. I subscribed to that for a year from my wife. My mother, actually. She was big into reading books.
It's not good. Yes.
Even lexicon. Take a look back here, real quick. Always just like to check real quick to see whether or not I have anybody in Orton, and they don't. Too bad. I picked up somebody in Orton in here recently. One of these days. Cold War. And I'm just zooming through. Started to cool off a little bit. You did?
Every fucking
Inte kom man ju iväg sig från
Yes, edition. First printing. Interesting. I read The Alchemist by Coelho. Paulo Coelho. I think I pronounced his name right. Don't know. But The Alchemist was a pretty good read. I read that in Venice. And I was down for the Biennale in 2003. It was September. And probably the 13th, if I remember right, I had taken the night train down on the 12th to Venice, and then the night train back on the 14th, spent another night or so, and then jetted back to the United States just in time to end up running into Hurricane Isabel crossing over top of Williamsburg, Virginia. Ah, yeah, history. We've all lived history, and I like to talk about it a great deal. And, well, that's a bookstore for you. David Andelman has joined again. Hey, good to have you. I'm out looking for the National Guard, but I don't think I'm going to find them right up here. We're coming up on the Brewmester's Palace, or whatever they call it. My wife used to know who owned it. I think it's been sold since years ago. We've been living here about 15 years. Come this fall, I think it was right around this time of year that we signed the paperwork for our bid for the condo we live in now. 2010 was a good time to buy in the neighborhood. And I'm really grateful for everything that I have here about. In spite of the fact that, people disparage Washington, D.C. as a den of iniquity. In many ways, it probably is. I think if we knew better, we'd do better. And I think we get to know people better. We can share their perspectives. We can see our own selves in their eyes. And one conversation at a time, we can do that. What I'm spinning off of a little bit here is Frank Bookman and the Oxford groups that were trying to transform the world, and they turned into moral rearmament running into World War II. 1938, I think, is when they changed their name to moral rearmament. And then what you find is that they, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. I gotta watch. Whoops. Yeah, I'm good now. Anyhow, wrong way, right? If you're looking for a sign, there's one. Wrong way. Full rearmament in 2001 became initiatives of change. One of the spinoffs from that was Up with People. I don't know if you all remember that, or if it's me, it can still be going on. Initiatives of Change is based in Coast, Switzerland. And, I'm kind of fascinated by those threads that run underneath of everything. We know what's running on top of the surface. The kind of narratives that are being expounded by our mainstream journalists. And apparently there are some good ones that I should listen to, and I want to know more about those. But we also have others to listen to. We need to use our critical thinking, our facility to weigh and measure where truth lies. Objective truth, I don't know. I had a friend who is a philosopher as well as a conservator, and his name was John Watson. It is John Watson. He's retired now, I believe, probably still making musical instruments from scratch. He's a good keyboard scholar. And John asked me one time if I thought that objective truth was a thing. And I was like, sure, that's what I think. I'm not so sure anymore. I'm not sure he was so sure. I don't think I was convincing necessarily. I was like, next question. But yeah, he was a deep thinker. was also very computer literate. He set up a nice database system for tracking the condition of the antiques in Colonial Williamsburg, which we used to use as a conservation technician back in those days, before I went back to graduate school for my degree in German. But what fascinated me about going back there was we had people from all over the world, right? When I went to Goethe Institute in Prenam Kimse, again, people from all over the world. It was 1994. There were a lot of young people who were becoming diplomats for their various countries, like Macedonia. We were talking about the breakup of Yugoslavia. And my friend Jozislav had lost his brother in the Croatian War of Independence. And we were able to talk about that in German with each other in Bonn Meisterei and Prina Kinsey. And, those evenings, we were sitting there sharing these fundamental things with each other. And when I went to visit him in Berlin, we went to a Croatian speaking church to look and see if we could locate relatives that had gone missing. Ask questions, get connections. And I don't think we got any, but maybe he managed to find those people later. Last I checked, he was in Ottawa, Croatian embassy up there. And I fell out of touch because in 1994 in Goethe Institute, I didn't have email yet. I got it right afterwards when I went to the University of Pittsburgh and took up my role as the teaching assistant for the German department, earning my master's degree. Kept in fiddles by dint of having that teaching position. I got the opportunity to teach, right? I got this great opportunity to interact with all these undergraduates who were brilliant people, right? They were really interesting and they had curiosity and they had the ability to pick up what I was laying down and did as well as I could, I expect. I was ranked pretty good as a professor, I think, overall there. Carnegie Mellon University, I taught there one semester, not so much. That was 1999. I had to give up my classroom because the film Wonder Boys was being shot there. Michael Chabon is also on Substack and worth reading, I believe. He had written a novel in 1995, my first full year there at Pitt. It got published in March of that year anyway, and it was about a professor writing a never-ending novel in a creative writing department. He was later played by Michael Douglas. But anyway, so I was kind of living that life there until I moved to Denmark to work for a small web software company as a tech writer, online help developer, architect. And that went well, but they didn't save the company. I wrote a little article about that recently, or found it and reposted it. I don't know. I put out a lot of content, right? And I don't know what's going to stick. I think that's the thing, stickiness of our information, amplifying signals through the noise. Should have our talk with David A. Andelman on YouTube soon. I haven't pulled up the YouTube link yet. I'm sure it's probably already out there. Substack is marvelous for that kind of thing because it's going to take whatever I send into the mix and pump it out in RSS feeds automatically for me and Spotify, Apple Podcast, Acast, I don't know what all. But amplifying the signal through the noise, it's what fifers do. So one of my stories, I just wrote a bit about my office hours being over for the day. And then I was going to take a little time in the subtitle to honor the memory of an old friend, Dylan Pritchett. He went by Aesop as well, because he was a storyteller. And, oh man, he touched so many lives, right? Aesop was also this is not something I'm going to write down. He was also one of the fellas out of Lafayette High School back in the day. The other one was Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence is out playing golf with the president. I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. But it's been a ride. It's been a ride. Williamsburg, Virginia, very much a little cauldron of change agents. from the get-go. John Locke was largely responsible for this, by the way, if you don't know that already. A lot of people don't. A lot of people didn't until my father did research that revealed it as very instrumental role in suggesting remedies, including the establishment of one good town where the College of William and Mary was on one end of town and the Capitol would be built on the other. And it would give an opportunity to test out the theories he had expounded upon in his essay on Two Treatises on Government. All this is in my Substack way back in the earlier part of the last fall, I guess. And yeah, Locke's ideas filtering through George Wythe to Thomas Jefferson, and Jefferson then doing what Jefferson did. Adams, Franklin. I just can't say enough about how much we collectively as Americans have our foibles, our humanness. There's a scene in 1776, the musical, done in 1972 as a movie, starring William Daniels and Howard Da Silva, Franklin, and William Daniels as John Adams. I identify with Adams so much, by the way. And if you're still with us out there, hey, bathrobe guy, peace and meta to you. There's a scene with Franklin where he talks about, what will they think we were, John? Demigods? And he was realizing that they weren't going to get away with abolishing slavery in the United States of America if they were going to successfully throw off the British chains. South Carolina wasn't going to have it. The South would not go with it if they were, darn it, trying to get a lanternfly. It's an invasive species. It should not be here. Hang it, quick. Yes, they are. Well, man, I'm quick too, and not that quick. So quick. One of these days, he's going to wear himself out. Don't know if I got him or not. But supposed to vanquish those little guys if possible. Anyway, so Franklin, Jefferson, Adams, Richard Henry Lee, Patrick Henry. So many people coming out of that small community was my hometown. Dylan Pritchett shuffled off the motor coil. I don't know exactly when. I found out from Preston Jones Jr. that he had. Preston's still there. The Silversmith shop and the ensign for the Fife and Drum Corps. I love him. He's a lifer. Lives in the house next door to the one I grew up in Birchwood Gardens, from the time I was about 4 months till I was 14. And we moved to Kingsmill on the James. I just lost that. Whew. So much to talk about. So many stories to tell. I'm making my way down a median street strip on K Street Northwest, Washington, D.C. We're almost to 19th Street. Okay. I think we'll bear down 19th. It's a good street to walk on. I'll go right by the General Services Administration building, which I really like for many reasons. One of which is I worked there on the Integrated Award Environment team. Learned a lot about Scaled Agile Framework work and action to develop the sam.gov website, System for Award Management, through which a lot of the awards of contracts is administered. I need to get myself some paying gig one of these days again. But for now, I'm enjoying being a flaneur, walking along, observing the passing show, commenting on it, documenting the existence of human beings, their lives. Everybody's webbed together, everybody affects everybody else. Dylan, being a storyteller of African American tales, uh, he was exceptional filming a flower because I think that that's exceptional as well. But being alive is very temporary, like these flowers. You really can't take it for granted. Oh, Dylan. When I first met Dylan, as I was telling the story earlier, and in the writing, so you can read it there, was when I went into the Fife and Drum building and he was heading upstairs. I think it was a Monday, maybe. We had a recruit class I was going to head to, and he had been busted to the rank of recruit. So he was hustling up to pass his tunes. They wouldn't let him pass but so many, I think, at a time. But he was passing them as fast as he could to get his rank back, rather than quitting, as many did when they were busted to recruit John C. Moon, if that's what was going to happen. Because honestly, he did not suffer fools gladly. John C. Moon had been the youngest drum major in the history of the Scots Guards, joining the Guards Regiment just post-war, I suppose. And he was a boy soldier. It allowed that. And he would pick the Scots Guards because his mother was Scottish. He himself had been born in Ontario, but raised in Scotland largely, and down in Hastings as well. Anyhow, retired from the British Army and came to us eventually and led us from 1972 to 1992 with a brief spate there where he was promoted above as the Director of Historic Area Programs and Operations, HAPO as it was called. And he traded that with Bill White. Bill went on to become the Senior Vice President of Publications before being sort of bobbed off, but he's landed on his feet and on certain business way and does great watercolors. These guys, they got into the idea to do something creative and they did it. They created, and they were afforded the opportunity through John D. Rockefeller Jr.'s largesse and restoring Williamsburg to its 18th century appearance, setting in motion all kinds of things. Money is energy, folks. So keep that in mind when you're subscribing. People like David A. Andelman, who we had today, he needs to use that to get his subscriptions to the things that he needs to, be exposed to so that he can filter that and translate it into the books he's writing. And Red Lines project organization that he's heading. Yeah. So there's a lot of motion. The red lines are drawn in the sand. Think about that. Meditate on it. Let's see. I guess I'll walk diagonally here. Try to head to shade. Got a red hand there. I'm not going to pay attention to it. There's a police car down the way. It's pretty quiet for a Sunday. As I was mentioning earlier, the protests on Friday were minimal down by the White House. I did see that there was some protesting going on somewhere in D.C. yesterday, and just one image. And of course, those images tend to distort things. That was one thing my father pointed out to me when I was younger, that telephoto lenses compressed crowds and made them look much larger than they actually were. And that a lot of this was being done strategically to sway people's opinions. Skepticism is one thing, but also compassion, metta, as Bathrobe guy likes to say, loving kindness. These are the things we need to cultivate in our society. I was talking briefly about the Friends Meeting House being very close by because Herbert Hoover, Secretary of Commerce at the time, was a Quaker. And, the American Friends Service Committee is out there doing what it can to eliminate the causes of conflict in the world. And similar with the initiatives of change I was talking about earlier that came out of Frank Bookman's work that evolved into moral rearmament. And then 2001, it became initiatives of change. One conversation at a time, getting understanding between people. We don't have to agree on everything. In fact, it's better we don't. It's better that we share our perspectives with each other and realize that, hey, my worldview might not be yours. My worldview might be a little limited, might be a little distorted, maybe very distorted. And here we are, hard by the World Bank Group. Got some folks getting their photograph taken with that. I was warned that they might be from India or one of the surrounding countries. World Bank Group. So I was talking to a couple of guys from the IMF, which is it's across the way, the International Monetary Fund. And I don't know, right? I just know it seems to me. And it seems to me that a lot of these institutions are shoveling around a lot of energy in the form of money to affect change. Okay, fair enough. That's good. Problem with that, do have a problem with spider webs getting all over my as I walk too close to the building. But what happens to that money? How does it get used, translated into action? Action. Action. My action is to take the impetus from the conversation I had earlier today with Daniel A. Andelman, right? And use it to propel me down the street with the camera on, taking in the passing show. See how few people are out here? How quiet it is? It's not going to be like that tomorrow, but I can come out here tomorrow too. Done that before when they're actually having like international whatever day. And walking amongst these people, just sort of, even a cat may look at a king is one of my thoughts that goes with me as I walk down here. It's one of the driving forces. Another is that, if we don't share our perspectives with one another, we don't learn anything. We just have our own interior echo chambers. And if we only listen to our friends and we don't listen to people that we've never met before, our world stay relatively small and chummy. We are a tribal species, after all, social ape. But we're moving beyond that now. We're moving to a point where we're all networked together. Ever since telegraph, now we've had that information network going on. John Perry Barlow was so eloquent on these matters. I wish I was as eloquent as him. But I want to steer you towards him. Even though he's gone now, 70 years old, he passed away. And massive health problems towards the end of his life. He writes about them pretty clearly and publishes his memoir just days before he dies. Mother American Night. Looking at somebody who lived a life like Forrest Gump, John Perry Barlow did him one better, I believe, because he really lived it. Anyway, I go on and on. There's the old 2017, it was 100 years old, the General Services building. I worked in there, enjoyed it very much. Yet, I don't believe that the work we were doing, it didn't hurt anything, but it really didn't facilitate the work of the getting the award, integrated award environment fielded any better because of our presence as contractors. But we soaked up some money, and I took that money, put it in the bank. I think I still have some. I don't know. 1776 F Street. I'm passing on that side. What is that? Let's see what this is. I'm going to go down by the executive office building, or getting close to the White House, 17th Street. Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. 1933 established that. Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation to protect your assets should anything like Lehman Brothers happen to you. Not sure how that unfolded entirely. I watched Frontline about it. I kind of got that level of understanding, but that's about it. I've been watching old Frontlines about that lately because it's not that long ago, but it is a while now.
It's all right. That's fine.
So 2008, I was talking about how 2008 we had our 50th anniversary of the Colonial Williamsburg Fife and Drum Corps, and Dylan Pritchett grabbed up a mace at the end of our performances on Market Square. It was 5 corps, 2 current corps at that time for senior and juniors, and then our alumni corps, Sutphen Corps, which was massive, the Moon Corps, which was not small, and the smaller Carroll Corps from the early days, which included our 4 originals who formed before they had adult leadership beyond the director of historic trades, Bill Geiger, who had been a neighbor of the young man, John Harbour, who became our first fifer. And John Harbour passed away since then, and Dylan's now passed away. Dylan had grabbed up that mace, and we had all formed up behind him, and it was massive mixed corps of all the generations. Dang if we didn't play well and loud and unscripted, marched right through town and disrupted what was supposed to be happening. The brass in Colonial Williamsburg was not happy. But, you need to realize what a valuable asset we are, collectively speaking. I've been trying, but I'm not getting very far. Even our own alumni don't really seem to feel that that's really a thing, to be like an alumni organization of a military unit or a high school or a college. We poured ourselves into that as youngsters. After that, for me, it just went away until like 2003. I think was the first time I marched with the alumni in a Christmas parade, actually not part of the Colonial Williamsburg scene, but Williamsburg community Christmas parade with don Santa hats and our street clothes. Now we've got uniforms, but it is what it is. A lot of sunlight out here. Probably going to be getting a little bit of sunburn if I'm not careful. The insect repellent seems to be working. I seem to be picking up more mosquito bites. Got a few. Kept me up last night. Okay, what have we got? Ding. Not what that was. Keep on moving. Don't stand and wait. Sunlight. People forget. There's a monument there to the victory in World War I, I believe. To the Spanish-American War, that's a monument to. I don't know. I should know. Somebody knows, maybe? I'm hearing dings on my phone. I can't see it because it's so bright out here. I need to find a shadow, like the shadow of this holly tree up by the old Corcoran Museum of Art. It's now owned, I think, by George Washington University and still has a school there. Let's see what's going on. I got 8 of you. Not much conversation going on. Really happy the folks are taking in the passing show. We get people from all over the world. I had a guy from the Gambia on yesterday and the day before. I was making my walk down by the White House, and I sort of looped around, and it was the day before, it was Friday. And I did that largely to hear what the heck was going on out front. And it was these protesters who were talking about how the United States needs to get out of Korea. We weren't there. I think North Korea would overrun it. And I don't know. I think that's probably true. But I do think root cause analysis needs to be done on all of these things. We were talking about how this Treaty of Versailles set up the world we're living in now. Well, the Treaty of Versailles? Yeah, Versailles. That was it. I couldn't remember. And it did. But there was other things that happened before that set up the way in which things unfolded. Edward the seventh, I think, had a sort of piece that came out of the Victorian age where you had the cousins together, the Tsar of Russia, in-lawed perhaps through marriage to Edward as Duke of Wales, no, Prince of Wales. Alexandra's wife was the sister of the Tsar's wife, and therefore George V and Nicholas II and Kaiser Wilhelm were all first cousins. So, yeah, Wilhelm, a favorite of Victoria, was the son of the grandson, right, of Victoria. So, something to think about. Vicky, the mother of the Kaiser. And just how heartbreaking all of that is, right? Family dynamics blown out. The whole idea of having kings, having dynasties. We're not immune to it ourselves. Who's this stinging me? Keely Sutphin. Hey, Keely, what's up? Damn. Can't read what she's written. Can I do what? I get in the shade, Keely. Can I do what? Can I pet that dog? Oh, I get it. I think she was just reacting to one of my funny things on this. Got something from Pamela Panda Wilson as well. So I got 4 messages from Lynn. Yeah, she was liking some of my stuff too. It's all good. It's all good. Whew. Yeah, not seeing much National Guard around the White House, that's for sure. There's a Secret Service guy here nearby. I gotta go. National Society for Daughters of the American Revolution Memorial Continental Hall. Fighting for Freedom, Black craftspeople in the Pursuit for Independence is open through 2025. Oh, man, I gotta keep walking. Let's see what I can find out. I'm going to be going down towards the Lincoln Memorial and looping back up, I believe, to home because I'm going to melt. This is good for me. It's good for me to walk. Good for me to talk. Walking and talk. I was going to have a Harrowings podcast tomorrow, but the young lady bailed out on me. And it seems like she didn't like what somebody said about some of her writing. And I was like, what's going on? But here's what it is. I'm really sorry that people take seriously what other people have to say to the point where they burn it all down. Okay. Probably is the way it ought to be. Got to respect people's limits. And we have limits. We are limited creatures. Have minds the size of planets sometimes. And then we do things that are more bestial than any beast. Thinking about the prologue in Heaven by Johann Hastfullen, Wolfgang von Goethe, I think. Anyway, good old Goethe. And the prologue in Heaven from Faust Part 1 talks about how, you give a man vernunft, reason, but it's all he needs to be more beastly than any beast. And that reminds me of a cartoon I saw once of God saying to the angels, hey, look what I did. I made man. And the angels are saying, fucked up a perfectly good monkey is what you did. Look, it's got anxiety. Organization of American States here. Isabel la Católica, Reina de Castilla, de Aragon, de las Islas Terra Firma, Del Mar Oceano. So, yeah, my great grandma, uh, Isabella, Ferdinand and Isabella, uh, I sort of set some things in motion there by listening to that Genoese navigator. Is what it is. Keep on coming.
And wait for the dinner for day.
Don't stand and wait. Souvenirs, ice water. I might give myself something a little later. It tied me over. I had such great smoothie this morning, though. At Emissary Pergamino. And you know what? It's weird. I've lived this really cushy life, and I didn't do anything to deserve it aside from show up and be white and blue eyed. The kind of privilege that has been extended to this particular group of people over others is, quite frankly, kind of frightening. I bet the Secret Service does nothing about that guy. But you never know. I remember watching movies about all kinds of terrible things happening. And there were terrible things happening just yesterday. A shooting came to my attention this morning. 3 killed, if I remember right, and many wounded. Where was it? Is it coming back? No, it's not. My files are not open on that regard. I wish they were. Man, this is some kind of hot, though, being out in the sun. This is the lock keeper's house. National Mall and Memorial. They're open. I'm not going in because I'm seeking out the National Guard where I think I saw them yesterday. I was coming along by the Lincoln Memorial and I saw all these Army vehicles. And, like they were ready for Desert Storm. And actually, there is a construction going on for Desert Storm, Desert Shield, a national monument going in for that. I had no idea. Well, I was talking earlier about 1776 and it's open. So I couldn't make my walk around. Kind of tempted to also get nass. I don't need that. I do not need ice cream. Talk myself out of it. Some national monument to World War II over there. Oh, yeah. Atlantic Theater on this side, the Pacific Theater on the other, or vice versa. I forget which. It's some kind of hot. What I like to do along here is walk close to the edge and see little fishes. And sometimes there's a heron out here getting his dinner. But it's probably not dinner time. Midday like this is probably better to conserve energy and be under shade. Isn't that great? People posing for pictures. And how much power do I have? Any? Whoa. Oh. I don't even know if I'm filming still. I can't see. Am I still on? Oh, jeez. Shade. Didn't be able to tell. So, if I am filming still, great. If I'm not, oops. Delete. Boop. Okay, looks like we're still here. James Constant is joined. The video feed is off. The video feed is off. Is it back on? I hope so. Give me confirmation. And if not, I'll just assume that it's on now. That happened when I was looking at something else. I was trying to find out what Keely was doing. She was just responding to a joke I sent her. Keely is my friends in Williamsburg. And she was a bootmaker when I met her. Oh, no, she was actually assistant to Jay Gaynor, curator of mechanical arts, when I met her. Tools, that kind of thing. I love Jay. Miss him. Passed away. He's coming in to work, and he said to somebody, as they was coming in, they said, "Jay, you don't look so good." And he said, "I don't feel so good," and proceeded to collapse. Apparently, they tried to revive him, but were unsuccessful. And I attended his funeral. Probably the last time I saw Sven Danberg alive. Doc Hassel had been there too, but I missed Doc. I was talking to other people. Doc couldn't stay long. Doc was pretty sick then too. Foundryman. And it's likely that, being in the foundry is not good for your health. If you're long term. I dodged it by dint of Dan's good services and giving me reason to want to be somewhere else. And I had a research project going on, and he was kind of obstructionist, I felt, and that was probably wrong. But, my right to be wrong is something I've very rarely not exercised. Here, I'm looking for life in the pond. I'm not seeing any. Guess those fishes are all undercover too because of the heat of the day. Ducks are active, hiding under the shade, like good, sensible ducks. I'm not so sensible myself. So we wanted to just check this out because this is a memorial to the signers of the Declaration of Independence. It's a gift from the American Revolution Bicentennial Committee. In Congress, July 4th, 1776, the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. And so they did, so we ought to as well. Go over here, we can see Button Gwinnett, planter, St. Catherine Island, Lyman Hall, physician, Midway, Georgia, and George Walton, a lawyer of Savannah. Thomas Hayward Jr., St. Helena's Parish. Thomas Lynch Jr., planter, St. James Parish. Edward Rutledge, a lawyer of Charlestown. And Arthur Middleton, planter, St. Andrew's Parish. Joseph Hughes, a merchant of Edenton. John Penn, a lawyer of Stovall, North Carolina. William Hooper, a lawyer of Wilmington, North Carolina. Carter Braxton, planter of King William County. Benjamin Harrison, a planter of Charles City County, my home county. George Wythe, lawyer of Williamsburg. Richard Henry Lee, planter of Westmoreland County. Francis Lightfoot Lee, a planter of Richmond County. Thomas Jefferson, Thomas Nelson Jr., a planter of Yorktown. And Thomas Jefferson, a lawyer of Albemarle County. Samuel Chase. It goes on. All the signers have their place here at this little island. The dragonflies are about. It's very peaceful. Not much to it. I'm going to get back off of here and get back to the shade. Say hello to the ducks. Hello, ducks. Look over at the pond here and scan it for life. There's some life. There's some fishes. Yep. See evidence of their motion as well. Little ones. Little ones. Yep. It's good to see. So up here, we have a jet coming into National Airport. No National Guard to speak of. But if I'm going to find them, I'm going to have to walk down that way. So we'll go down around the end of the pond and down towards the reflecting pool that lines the way to the Jefferson or the Lincoln Memorial. And if there be any military vehicles That's probably where they'll be. Or not. I mean, I'm going to check out U Street too eventually. I don't know if I'll be able to get back up there today. Really, really broiling hot. I don't want to have a heat stroke. I had one of those once. And it was kind of going hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. That I think did it. For a loop. They go to George Washington Hospital's emergency room for the better part of the day. To my wife's chagrin. I gotta get one of those grabbers. My friend Jack has a grabber, and he picks up trash when he walks. And just a great thing to do. See these little yellow flowers, something precious. Sure they're a weed. Hopefully not an invasive species. And out in profusion in the water. And lots of dragonflies doing what dragonflies do. Eating mosquitoes is what I think they do a lot of. I approve of very much. Looks like some of them are mating in flight. There's one having fun, eh? Do love dragonflies. There's a blue one. Or the small ones. So walk along. See having a few little fish. Here's our way out. Beautiful day. All that political nonsense, how we get up to as human beings. If we were cooperative instead of competitive, we'd do so much better. And I think some of us have had that vision, but yet we've yet to realize it. There are threads underpinning our society that are people coming together for common purpose. Corporations, they call them. Corporatism is what Mussolini tried to call it versus fascism. As a balance, right? That's what Reinhold Niebuhr was on about, his irony of American history.
Why I know. Why? I lost it. What's he doing?
Yeah. Jim's there. If I need some. Oh, you know what?
Gas.
Don't think I can get down there. Can we? Don't think I'm supposed to cross grass here. Go down by the Vietnam War Memorial. Pay attention to them. My friend, my new friend, David A. Gandelman, was spent his tail end of his career, tail end of the career of the Vietnam War in Southeast Asia. Really want to hear more about that. We have so many people who were there when history was being made. I was supposed to interview my great uncles who served in World War II. I didn't have the awareness to do it. I don't know what to call it. Try to wind my way because there's no barrier here. Really, the shade of the trees towards the Lincoln Memorial. I'm going to look for those vehicles that I saw yesterday and see if I see them. Yeah, no evidence. I can't cross this right here, but down below I could. I've got a bit of shade here. Across this little sunny spot. Yeah. It's not far from the Korean War Memorial. I can see that from here. Soldiers slogging together. The Korean War. War in Korea, the red line between South and North, which is holding in a way. I guess maybe I like to see those red lines be erased and cooperation rather than competition between peoples. And sometimes I don't think it's likely in the cards. I don't think it's likely in the cards. Come down behind this tree here. Leaning on it for a second, it's an elm. Yeah, there it is. Whatever it is, there are still sandy colored vehicles up there. I'm going to see if I can step over this chain link. I can. And I did. There they are. Quest accomplished. I don't know if David A. Endelman is with us still. It's on. Good. Yeah, well, I don't mind it being on, but it is nice to be able to see what I'm seeing, right? So I want to find out what the military vehicles over there are all about. So I'm going to make my way over that way. I'll check it out. And I'll head for home. My wife is cautioning me not to get myself arrested. She was not amused to hear that I was enthused about my friend David having been thrown out of some countries. I have been thrown out of things in the past myself.
It does.
Not countries, but they might as well have been. Oh. Largely for sticking to principles that are inconvenient for some. I'll try to get over here. Debating on which particular path to take. I think getting across and then up. Way to go. I have skipped over the Vietnam War Memorial. It was in bright sun tonight. Really don't need more sun. Gonna get enough just making this crossing from the reflecting pool. There's the Lincoln Memorial, put up in 1909, if I remember correctly. It's about time you see it gracing the back of pennies. No, it came later. I'm wrong about that. So, U.S. Capitol Dome and Washington Monument. Between us and it, the World War II Memorial. Ring of flags around the Washington Monument, visible from here. World these children will see. Right?
Yay! That's it, Adam.
Ducks are having fun. And back up to the Lincoln Memorial. There's Lincoln's statue up there, French's sculpture of him. And I think I can get up here most efficiently and effectively. Shade on those steps. And there's some shade up there. Let's see what I can do. Raise myself up. Korean War Memorial over there. Desert Storm and Desert Shield are coming into focus. Up there, away from the Lincoln Memorial, just noticed yesterday. Live here, but I can miss things. So here we go.
那应该是个拍照的地儿吧？怎么好多人都在那个
Our troops are amassing. Standing in formation, in fact. Let's find out what that's about.
Hey, God. Fuck it up.
Another jet coming into National.
Shoot, it's open. I'll see fuck off.
Cloud cover.
We're the real. Yeah. Honest. Here. That's. Yeah. Thank you. That's over to the back. Coleman, something. Felton. Turn it over there. All right. Okay. And over there.
Well, that's interesting. So, DCARNG, that would be Army National Guard, 74th Tech trucks. Good sized trucks. 104th SMC 219. Again, Army National Guard, the 74th. 104th SMC 305. So that's what I see here. Gonna be a whole lot of standing around, I expect. I'm glad I made it.
Well, too, if you're a pickup truck, I just noticed that. You can just pick these up and take them off.
Yeah,
You know, I think
it's pretty good.
these are living quarters, right?
Are they?
I think so. I mean,
Yeah, well, it kind of makes sense, right?
The air vents on the outside,
Yeah.
right? And
Signal entrance box.
memorial safe, huh?
Yeah, I think so. It may be. They're forming up over here and doing roll call.
You know, I had logos like this as a kid, but for like space. But this is a pickup truck. If you really get down to it,
Flatbed.
for the flat, it is.
Yeah.
With a Michigan put on, but that's a
Yeah, that's a presence. But it's the only presence I've seen so far in the flesh. I'm out here watching. I got sent down here by a journalist.
Yeah.
Who's up in New York City.
Yeah.
I was talking to him a little bit. He's about 80 years old now, and he's served all over the world.
You know, outside of a situation,
Yeah.
like where you have sniper fired,
Yeah.
the most practical use for this would be for CDC purposes, where you would have some airborne virus that
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Would deploy.
Yeah.
And you'd have to send some really unlucky people and soldiers to secure it.
Yeah.
I mean, this makes so much sense.
If you're going to be a chemical attack, yeah.
Either for like, hey, I need 100 like guys in the Marines where, you know, unfortunately, we need 100 guys dropped in the middle of a fire zone in Kandahar, and we're going to put you in this.
Yeah.
Right? That's practical for this. Or a city situation where you have some CDC and somebody's got to be in there.
Center for Disease Control.
Because it's so airtight.
Right.
It's so airtight.
It looks like it.
Like,
looks like that's the idea behind it.
I would feel comfortable in that in a CDC emergency environment.
Right.
I wouldn't want to.
Were you in the military?
I served my country.
Did you? Where, and which unit? Or which branch?
That's all I say.
That's all you say? Okay, that's cool.
But
that's cool.
You know,
I had a lot of friends who served in the Gulf War I. That's my generation.
All right.
Escort T, what's that? Long limousine. Yeah, it's fun to be in DC because you never know what you're going to see.
How long you been here?
15 years I've been living in here. Probably I was at, I live up on S Street. Yeah. So I'm not really based. I'm not. The closest I got to the military is this Colonial Williamsburg Fife and Drum Corps. I was a sergeant. All right. Well, hang in there. Stay vigilant. That's it. It doesn't look like there's any more activity than this. Fairly small unit. And I was right. I did see these from the road over here and yesterday when I was cruising by. Don't mind me, just cruising by. States Park Police is in place as well. It's our National Guard. Doing what they do. Got a band too, man. Must be mess call. I don't know if I was even supposed to walk over here. It looks like Park Police might have it screened off. But a journalist?
Even though he would have thought it's only for you. It's
Overhead from mission accomplished. You see the roof of the Natural History Museum. There goes the Capitol Dome from up here. Beautiful. Can't wait till we have cooler weather. At least there's a little cloud cover now. I'll watch my step.
that. So,
Heading north. Federal Union of the States at the heart of Lincoln's purpose, as symbolized in his memorial by 36 columns beneath the names of the 36 states composing the Union in his lifetime. When the memorial was designed, and included 48 states named on the attic frieze. A generation later, in 1959, Alaska and Hawaii attained statehood, fully joining their destinies with the United States of America. E pluribus unum. Out of many, one. And up there is the spot where Martin Luther King, in August this month of 1963, 62 years ago, delivered his speech. I Have a Dream. And among others in the audience were Patch Adams, Hugh Romney, now Wavy Gravy, Bob Dylan, Joan Baez. You know, it was quite a thing. A lot of those folks still with us. In fact, all four of those folks are still with us. Martin Luther King Jr., not so much. But then again, he'd be well into his 90s now, right? Or even over? I don't know. I don't know his birthday off the top of my head. The way we treat each other. Telling you. So over there is where they're starting that memorial for broken ground. Desert Storm, Desert Shield Monument. The new Lincoln Memorial exhibit's opening summer 2026. We're going to just head straight up here. What straight? Yeah. For a bit. Might actually have to go up pay homage to Talmadge, Alvin Jr.,
For sure.
Talmadge Horton. Alvin Jr., who lost his life on August the 23rd, of 1968. If I remember right, he was in the Army Ranger Unit, a staff sergeant. He was radio man and killed in an ambush. Night. That's what I remember hearing. I don't know if all that's true. I'll have to fact check myself. Easily done with the world turned upside down. a book about the 50th anniversary of the Colonial Williamsburg Fife and Drum Corps. Talmadge was our first bass drummer. And as I said, lost his life in Vietnam. We lost Alan Pritchett earlier, either today or yesterday, or sometime within the recent memory. It was very sad to hear that Dylan's no longer with us. Aesop, as he goes by on Facebook, storyteller extraordinaire, preserver of so much history. And I'm sure he's well recorded. I certainly hope so. Want to keep in touch about that because, well, I'd love to be able to be there to honor his passing if it falls on a date in which I can be there. I kind of booked up this next week, but if it falls on the week after, it's possible. There's a monument over there to the Vietnam War veterans who lost their lives after coming back. And there were many.
In school.
And here we have so John H. Anderson Jr., Early Barnhart Jr., James E. Bates, and goes on. All these people represent children of parents, friends of friends, and lovers. They were cut off due to our policies. 47. Yes. Right there. Talmadge Alpin Jr.
So you find that because I took the photo.
There it is. Right there. I'm sorry?
I took the photo, for example, this one.
Yeah.
What's the point it is?
This is a panel number. West 39, for instance, is West 47. See at the bottom?
I had to go to
And then the row. So if you're looking for a particular name, you look at the panel number, and then the rows are numbered. So my friend Talmadge, for instance, is right here. I believe he's on row 36 of West 47. Yeah.
But in my case, I don't understand this.
The W39.
65.
If you need that one, it's right down here. Up. Which way are they going? Yeah, they're going this way. So West 39 is this panel.
Yeah.
And the name is that you're looking for?
Says the name is.
It's 65. I know that, but what's the name?
You talk about this one?
Yeah, what's the name? He's a captain. He died the 14th of November, 68. Scroll over so I can see his name. Okay, it's Fabian.
Fabian is the last name. I see so, right?
William Fabian. Okay. So he'd be on row 65. There's sweat in my eyes, so I'm having a hard time seeing, but he'll be down near the bottom, I believe.
Okay, let's go to try.
William Fabian. So he should be on this somewhere, and I'm scanning back and forth, and I'm not picking him up. William Fabian.
No problem. Continue. Thank you very much.
Yeah, very good. He's somewhere here. And it should be like, if we counted down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it should be down close to the bottom. William Miller. No, that's not him.
It's high.
But it's a William, and I would think he'd be almost on the bottom if it's 65. Row 65, you got him?
It's William.
Yeah.
Yes, it's this one.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you very much.
A pleasure. Did you know him?
Yeah, I got it. No. I tried to find my last name.
Ah, I see.
And try to,
Right. Gotcha.
Thank you.
Very good.
Hello.
That was nice. I like helping people out if I can. A lot of times they have park rangers out here who also are helping. I tell you, the heat of the day is such, I don't blame the park rangers for not being here. It's also a Sunday. But what better day than a Sunday to come down to the Vietnam War Memorial and remember all those our nation honors the courage, sacrifice, and devotion to duty and country of his Vietnam veterans. The memorial was built with private contributions from the American people on November 11th, 1982. And it says up there, in honor of men and women of the armed forces of the United States who served in the Vietnam War, the names of those who gave their lives and of those who remain missing are inscribed in the order they were taken from us, starting apparently with Dale R. Boyce, ending with Richard Vandiger. Such a waste. And then you don't even begin to think about the number of the Vietnamese people that lost their lives in the conflict and the way in which they lost them. Unbelievable.
Nee, dat big big wars. Maybe can research some many there. How many names do you think are here roughly? Something like 5,000.
On this, I think we were somewhere between 50 and 60,000 Americans were lost, and their names are inscribed, but that doesn't begin to touch the number of French and Vietnamese people.
Yeah, of course.
Thai, Laos, Cambodia.
Is there any system to find a specific name?
Yes, there's a book right over there. Do you see that stand?
Yeah.
There's a little tall thing next to it, but there's a stand where there's a book covered over from the weather. And you look it up, and on this, see, this is panel 62E.
Okay.
And then they number the rows. So on the first row would be Albert J. Campestre, Alan R. Courtney Jr. They'll all be number 1 on 62E. And then the other was numbered west from that corner down. So each panel having an individual number in each row. And they give a little details on when the person was lost and what their rank was, things like that.
Thank you.
Pleasure. I try to do what I can.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Where y'all from?
New Jersey.
All right. Welcome to DC.
Yeah.
What's your district?
Oh, 51.
Oh. What's going on there?
Well, you know,
Okay. Northbound. This is 21st Street. I live on 21st and S. So that's right where 21st runs out for a while. Gets cut off there. Oh, man. This is some walk.
well,
So a very limited number of National Guard troops out there in DC. They were there doing their duty.
So, yeah. 3 hours.
6 on 11. Oh, steel plates. I keep walking. Souvenirs. Plenty of souvenirs there. Oh, man. So how are we doing on power? Not bad. 40 something. 12 of you are with us. Ing Fisher, Word Salad, Ing Munching is there. Thanks for joining. Very kind of you to see me through my march to see the National Guard. Document their existence in DC. They are concentrated right south of the Lincoln Memorial. At least the unit I saw. Don't see that they're doing very much. Oh, man. I forget what this is, but doing a lot of work on that federal building. Back out of the sun again for a bit. I think I'm going to need to sit down and relax. Oh boy. That leg is getting the ache. And that's my left. That's my good hip. That's not good. Bad knee, good hip. Oh, yeah. In worse shape than I was. Incredibly hot. This is the State Department coming up on here. Buildings related to it. If you keep going. Oh, man. I'm telling you, she doesn't a joke for us a while. Probably wrap the passing show pretty soon. I'm tired. Don't have a whole lot more to say. The aim of this episode was to get down there and see the National Guard. If they had a presence still in DC, and they do. So we documented that. Documented vehicles, what was marked on those vehicles. And we're pulling down a lot of metadata is the long and short of it. We're all being surveilled all the time. And you don't know what you don't know. I may be an operative. For all I know. That was something that Robert Anton Wilson believed at some point, or at least speculated that he might be. A useful idiot of the CIA. Incoming jet airliner coming into National Airport. I like to check out what jets are landing and where they're coming from and think about it, think about the web of connections, way in which our lives intermingle. Again, I'm in mourning for my friend Dylan. He's a fife and drum fife sergeant when I was in the senior corps. He led us for a while, and then it was Seth Farrell and Drew Moran and I know our section leaders that I recall. I don't remember the order, but I was really grateful for their guidance, and they're still in my life in many cases. I should try to get up with Drew and find out what he's doing these days. I bet he's doing something important. He and his brother Scott, and his brother Mark, who preceded my time, they were all part of the Fife and Drum Corps. Graham and Stuart Sable. A big world. Hadn't seen Graham since 2008. Get out of the way. Some Virginian coming out. Heading down back to Virginia, I guess. Terrible to have to work.
That's my belief.
United States Department of State.
Oh, for mom, it's gonna be all right.
It's hard. Very, 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 very hard to make the march back. There, I can do a cameo. Walking along, taking in the passing show. No one fill those shoes. Nope. Thinking of a dial-in again. Thinking of Jay Howlett as well, who died earlier this week. I think on the 15th. And his ongoing work in the trades. I'm going to sit down here, politely shady, and take a look. And we're allowed to cross 21st, but that'll just add more mileage to me. And I've had enough mileage for now. Convertible Audi across the way. No front plate. Kind of wonder where it's from. It's always interesting to see where people are from, too, for me, playing the license plate game. That person's from South Carolina. Ford Escape. Modern vintage. My Ford Escape's in the shop. It's a hybrid 2007. Needed some air conditioning work for taking it out this summer. And it's been locked up in there for a while. Is that? I couldn't tell, but it looked like it was green. Colorado? Maybe. I don't know. I missed my opportunity. As a New Yorker, though, and a Virginian. Up this way, Virginia Avenue. Not too far to the Kennedy Center. Go back down that way. It's nice to do. I'm not going there today. Keep walking. I think I might have had enough walking. I think I might fall down. May apples. My father used to pretend there's May apples. I think it's what those little plants are. Were palm trees when he was playing with his soldiers when he was a kid. World War II. He was 12 years old when World War II ended. American Foreign Service Association. So that's wow. Looking for shade and not seeing much. So 2101 East Street. Leasing here. Bernstein Management. Shade. It's Potomac Park, 5510 21st Street Northwest, 202-337-5252. No loitering allowed. I'm not loitering. Not for long, anyway. Oh, boy. Monroe House. That's good. I'm wearing my Divided Sky 2025 fun to run shirt. I was in May, same time as drummer's call. I put in, sure, my 5K. That's not at a running pace. Yeah, that was fun. Divided Sky is an organization founded by Trey Anastasio and his drug court lawyer, or drug court administrator. I don't know which was really. But that nonprofit running up in Vermont help people get straight who might have problems with drugs and alcohol. As Trey did, drug court saved his life. You should YouTube him on that. He's very inspirational. If you like fish, you might listen to Trey. He's an exceptional player, up the guitar, and an exceptional human being too. Just a wonderful, warm, thoughtful, humble, kind human being. He was taking the place of Jerry in the Fare Thee Well concerts of 2015 in California. They did 2 nights warming up for 3 nights in Chicago Soldiers Field in July of that year. I think they wrapped up on the 5th, kind of like we wrapped up on the 5th in 2008 for our 50th anniversary of my band. Dylan Pritchett leaving us off of the field. And Dylan, we're falling in behind you one by one again. And behind John Moon, behind whom we had marched earlier that day and marched off on March 2nd, 2022. Miss John, Miss Dylan, eternally, but they will never be forgotten by us. And they are tattooed in the memory of so many. I've got some images from way back. Dylan leading the Corps as a young man. About the time I joined the Corps, about 1974. There's nothing if not dedicated. The whole thing. I'm going to go back and probably record his part of Drummer's Call DVD, which I linked to. I posted about him earlier today that's headed as office hours are over for the day. And that's true. I hold him again for the 7th consecutive day at Emissary Pergamino. This is the textile museum I'm filming on the other side of the street, George Washington University Textile Museum. Shop the Artists Gallery. Yeah, what a place. It used to be in a double mansion on S Street, right next door to the Woodrow Wilson house. Woodrow Wilson's post-presidency home is shared with Edith Galt Wilson, who has effectively been president his last year and 5 months in office after he managed to give himself a hell of a stroke trying to get folks to get up on his League of Nations idea. I think he has sort of messianic ideas there. In 1941, Listener Auditorium's cornerstone was laid, and I saw King Crimson there for the first time in my life, live, in October, just before Dylan and I performed for Herb Watson's funeral. It was right after Herb had died, and it seemed like a fitting thing to do, to attend a King Crimson concert between the date of his death and the date of his burial over in Williamsburg. They call that Cedar Grove Cemetery on South Henry Street, I think. Yeah, I get back there from time to time. Thanks to my suggestion, we played Rosalind Castle at Herb's graveside. I was so glad to do that. It had been my suggestion. And I was backed up by some people. Initially poo-pooed by some of the seniors, but it is what it is. A lot of us have control issues. Some of us have massive control issues. A learning reminder, 2 to 3. I should be working on learning stuff. And so I am. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. Man, I got to get back to the thread. Elijah, one of these days, he's in Nashville, I think. I don't know if he's on tour right now, so it's hard to nail down. But, I'm going to call him eventually. We talked within the year, and I think he'd be a great guest. I mean, Had Scott Guberman on as keyboardist. Had some other folks on. Lisa Law, who was responsible for the free kitchen at Woodstock about this time, 56 years ago. Lisa had gotten the Dixie cups and paper plates that were used to serve the granola to the famished concert goers. Usually, basically, you have to cook granola. But, uncooked, I think he said. I think she said. It's in Harrowing's podcast, Lisa Law, out on YouTube, so available here on Substack. Oh, yeah. So, anyway, Harrowings keeps on fucking. This is George Washington School store. It's a bookstore, too. Some people in there. I think I'm going to go in. I'm tired and hot. I need to cool off. There's Western Market over there, too, somewhere nearby. But now I think it's good enough just to go into the George Washington School campus store. There we go. For a little bit of cooling off. A little bit of respite from what ails me. No smoking within 25 feet of the building. That's a good law. Already. Look at these cute little notebooks. Everything's so pretty. They're navy blue and white and gold.
What would send
I'm just gonna walk through a little bit. Okay. Bone's cool. Bone's pretty hot. What else we got here? Christian Gear on the floor. Unique person. That sounds like a Icelandic name. Enemies of ours joined. I don't know if anybody's still with us or not. Moving around. Bugs. Oh no. Oh, oh. Is history. That question is. Mac does this. Super. Multitask. Got me a MacBook Pro myself. To just sooner. Wow, look at that. That's something else. Powerful bed. Attachments. Storage. Chargers. Adapter blocks. I really needed something to extend the number so I can dock into my MacBook Pro. I was thinking of buying something yesterday for like $95. They're like 220 Xbox, JVC, case, gold candy, black shark. That's the kind of thing I was thinking of. I've already got something like that. USB-C multi-port 4K. That's exactly what I have right now. It seems to do this that much better. So it's the tech end of things. Elliott School of International Affairs. I should have gone to some of those schools. I'm wasting my time studying German. Accidentally, more or less. So I had no idea what I wanted to do. My father was right. I didn't listen. I didn't pick up on what he was saying necessarily. Think faster, talk smarter. What happened to you? Outlive. A lot of good books. Can actually park it for a minute. A minute. 1:36 p.m. It's 92 degrees. Monday will be 80 with thunderstorms, 78. Tuesday, thunderstorms, 84 thunderstorms. Wednesday and Thursday, thunderstorms. Mostly cloudy today, 92 degrees. So I don't know how many are still with us. 14, aside from me, have joined at some point or another. And I've been walking and talking for so long about so many different things, but probably getting really repetitive. Oh, my neighbor Totoro, 2026. I got introduced to my neighbor Totoro through watching it on the television at my then girlfriend's place in Virginia Beach. Raina Fleiman, artist, teacher in Montessori schools, French. I was part of what she was raising Alyssa on. Alyssa was like the closest thing I've ever had to a daughter. Well, out of touch now. She got back in touch when she was 16, about to turn 17. It was good. I tried to help her out a little bit. And her mom, too. There's nothing else I could do. But it was good to see Ronnie when she came to DC with relatives. Took them on a little tour. It was pandemic days. I forget exactly when we took them out to Lero, well, dinner. And took them down to see the White House, Washington Monument before getting back, and rained on us. They got back. It's a really good time for me. It was a good time for them. I just love it. I love playing tour guide for people from other countries. Can't really see things too well. So I think I am going to wrap the passing show here. I'm tired and I need to get home. It's got about 37% power. So I'm going to wrap it up and thank all of you all for joining us. Remember, be the change you want to see in the world. Every cent spent is a vote for the kind of world we are co-creating. And we'll see you again on the Passing Show on Harrowings Live with Hal Gill, your host.